whether you I think all the stakeholders get that, and I think we get that. The 3% for the oil producing community is too low.
So the support that is needed, and once again, the support your airline people will blossom.
This is Nigeria. You need to give people sense of belonging.
Good morning, viewers. It's another Tuesday morning of Inside Nigeria. Of course, based November 9, 2021. I'm not alone as usual. I'm with my regular co-host, Winifred. Okay, Winifred, good morning.
Good morning, viewers. Thank you so much for tuning in to Inside Nigeria. It's a pleasure to be on set today.
Exactly. And of course, our guest analyst will not be with us physically in the studio today. He'll be joining us shortly virtually. We'll be hosting Remi Adebayo, the editor of the Abuja City Journal, on this program this morning shortly. So today we'll be dissecting the front pages of Leadership, National Economy, the Daily Times, and of course the Punch. And if time permits, we'll be looking into the Supplementary Anambra Gov'ship Election holding in the Hiala local government area of Anambra State today, Winifred. So it's a long journey if time permits. Well, yes, as usual, viewers, we're starting with Nigeria's most influential newspaper, The Leadership. On the front page of Leadership this morning, Anambra supplementary poll, APC, PDP bank on 140,000 Ihiala voters to overturn Solo's lead. Anambra supplementary poll, APC, PDP bank on 148,000 Ihiala voters to overturn Solo's lead. Hopeful of Osun Kano magic. Forget it, Ihiala is our stronghold, according to Abga. We are watching, says Ohaneze Indigo. Civil society call for transparency. INEC adjust voting timetable. Can you see a disturbing rider there? Some political parties or politicians are hopeful of Osun Kano magic. We need to interrogate what is Osun Kano magic.
Oh, it's true. But they are just getting the drift now. It didn't even sink in initially. Wow. Okay. Of course, but it will also what happened when they had a supplementary polls in those states of Osun and Kano. And of course, the one that was who everybody perceived to be the winner at the end of the day lost.
Exactly, in both instances.
Behind. Exactly. So obviously anything can happen.
And that is a dent on Nigeria's electoral system, and it will continue to haunt us because it means something went wrong in Kano. I remember the popular Gama word.
Yes. And
in Osun when Ademona Adeleke was yes, and suddenly the table turned according to, and then now Remi Adebayo, the editor of the City Journal. Good morning, Remi Adebayo.
Have you?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes.
How is your cozy office this morning, Mr. Adebayo?
Everywhere is fine. We thank God we are live at Abuja City Journal and we are ready to see what is happening in Anambra and other parts of the country today.
Okay, so let's go straight to business. You can see what we have on the front page on Leadership. Anambra supplementary poll, APC, PDP, bank on 148,000 Ihiala voters to overturn Soludo's lead. Hopeful of Osun Kano magic. Forget it, Ihiala is our stronghold, according to Abga. We are watching, says Ohaneze Indigo. And of course, the civil society organization is calling for transparency as INEC adjusts voting timeline. Adebayo, what is your take on this story of leadership this morning?
Thank you very much, Bode. Well, this is politics. And like my sister said there, anything can happen. But sincerely, I would not want us to take a cue from what happened in Osun to be a template for what will happen in Hiala today. I remember that the supplementary election of Osun a few years back came at a serious cost to the people. It was one of the worst elections that was recorded. International observers and people on the ground said that it was a violent election that was characterized by not just violence, but also vote buying. So we don't want to see that in Ihiala today. So far, Ihiala with 148,000 votes is a big take for almost all the political parties in Anambra State. With Soludo, the candidate of the APGA, taking lead in 18 local governments already with a large margin. I don't know how that is going to be possible, but I know that I don't know whose stronghold Ihiala belongs to practically, but then frankly, but I believe that Ihiala is not going to go for a single party. A number of other parties will share from it, but if you look at the pattern so far from Saturday, you can see that it's a trend in Anambra State. The people are thinking in a particular way. It's like a protest against certain electoral direction. So you can see from the time of, I think, Governor Peter Obi till now, Anambra has always been in the bucket of the APGA. So we don't know if that's going to be reenacted. But also we have to look at the direction or the grievances of opposition parties. Like the APC is alleging that there are discrepancies, that there are vote buying. They are talking about that the votes were cancelled in their strongholds and things like that. I think today's election should take care of all those things. And I remember also that on Saturday, we have problem with the voters not being able to exercise their franchise at the right time, late arrival electoral materials, and all those stuff. We have to, the electoral umpires must correct all these ones. But then, one thing that we cannot take away is that the election actually beat a lot of people's expectation. It was peaceful. We expect that today's election is going to be peaceful in those areas where they are going to be held, aside from Ihiala local government. At the end of the day, what will matter to an average Anambra person and all Nigerians is the fidelity of that election and how its outcome is going to be acceptable to all contestants in that election. Once that is done, I'm not sure that anybody will have any grounds about its outcome eventually.
But Adibaro, let's take away the magic of Osun and Kano that happened before. We have 148,000 votes at stake, and the margin of lead between Soludo and Valentino Zibo of the PDP is just about 50,000. Now, is this not enough to say it's not yet Uhuru for Soludo of APGA, even though APGA has said Ihiala is their stronghold? But 148,000 votes, one person can just take maybe 70% of their votes all alone and swing the pendulum to his side.
The 148,000 that you see is the number of registered voters in that local government.
Assuming all of them will come out to vote.
All of them cannot come out to vote, but then you can put me on record. There is, if you look at the pattern of what's happened, there is this certain sentiment that do not allow majority of people to come and exercise their franchise. Anambra State is not just an exception. The southeast in particular has the pattern. Yes, the apathy is there, and I can tell you that most people will not come out. And I'm not going to tell you or predict which the people that will come out to vote will, what decision they will make. But the truth is that no single party, I bet if you are going to have 50% of that number coming out to vote, and at the end of the day, what happens? There will be particular sentiment that will work against certain parties in that local government. From what you have seen from Saturday's election, so I'm not predicting. It's not over, of course. It's politics. It's not over yet, but no single party can come out and say that yes, this particular local government belongs to me now. Whoever stronghold it is still going to be a very contestable place for all the parties to benefit from.
So, like you said, we just have to stay safe and keep our fingers crossed. Wait the conclusion of the election today and see who will be the eventual winner. Well, Adebayo, we need to move away from that politics a bit and go to the next newspaper for the day, which is our sister publication, the National Economy.
National Economy today says banks lending to private sector may hit 35 trillion naira by December. Banks lending to private sector may hit 35 trillion naira by December. Trend signals economic expansion. National Economy today says banks lending to private sector may hit 35 trillion naira by December.
Well, Adebayo, from the headline, you can see that our team of our editorial team at National Economy is bringing out economic activities in the year as regard bank lending to private sector, which may hit 35 trillion naira by December, which signals a lot of economic activities are taking place. Against the backdrop of the fact that we are just smarting from the effect of COVID-19, how will you view this news, Adebayo?
Well, I'm going to say that it's a very inspiring news. This is coming against the background that the federal government is also doing a lot in the COVID spending, the household support, the agri support, and other initiatives that is taken by the National Social Investment Program of the federal government. I'm not going to say this is bad, but then I also have to look at what interest rate is this economy expanding. I'm not an economist and I don't want to take credit for that, but then at what level is this expanding? The 35 trillion naira of January this year or of this time last year, I don't know if it still has the same value with what it is some years or 1 or 2 years back. So that is where the Nigerian people will be talking about. Then the investment environment itself, where people put money. I don't know if they are having the same returns as they're supposed to have, like what you call returns on investment. Those are the areas where I think the federal government should be looking at. The interest rate, then the investment environment. People are still having to grapple with the problem with power. People still have problem with a lot of infrastructure that should aid investment. Even people that put their money, their resources, investment into farming, most of them still have issues because of insecurity here and there. So we feel that if banks are helping in this capacity, I know that government is actually trying to expand the economy by diversifying different products and move away from oil reliance alone, which is very, very commendable. But then I think government should be looking at the environment, the interest rate, and the consistency on how inflation actually eats their investment. If you take 500,000 rand to invest in a particular initiative now, I'm not sure if what you have will still be the same thing by the time you are having your returns because of the inflation. Go to the market today. Whatever you buy 10 naira yesterday, you may go to the market and meet it for 12 naira, 11 naira today. And there's instability so much in the market. So I believe, I'm not a banker, like I said, and I'm not an economist, but from reports on the street and the realities of the day, banks are actually trying, and of course we are commending them for that. But then government also must also be thinking about how to ensure that Nigerians, when they go to the bank to get these loans or facilities, they can pay it back at the right time.
Yeah, I think you have raised your main issues. It is not enough to celebrate that bank lending to private sector is increasing because it's coming at a cost of a higher interest rate, and this will have, of course, effect on goods and services.
The naira has devalued.
Depreciated. Yes.
So at the end of the day, how much of the 35 trillion naira is really worth?
Exactly. Well,
Thank you so much.
yeah, you need to take a cup of water in your office while we go on break for a few seconds. We come back and continue the review.
Actually, drinking water.
For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.
Well, welcome back. It's still Tuesday edition, November 9, 2021 edition of Inside Nigeria. And of course, we have been dissecting the front page of some national dailies with Remi Adebayo, who is the editor of Abuja City Journal. Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Thank you so much.
All right. We'll be going to the third newspaper on our menu this morning, which is the Punch. On the front page of the Punch this morning, Governors attack Malami over $418 million consultants fee. Say Attorney General lied. Governors attack Malami over $418 million consultant fees. Say Attorney General of the Federation lied. They said haste suggests a special relationship between AGF office and consultants, according to the Nigerian Governors Forum. State resources needed for critical development should not be frittered away, according to the Nigerian Governors Forum. What is your take? This issue has been on for a long time. What is your take, Adebayo?
My take is that this is a very, very important and very strategic issue that has been on with the Office of the Attorney General of the Federation of Malami. And I know that there have been issues about whether the consultant that negotiated or that fought for the Paris fund refund to Nigeria, whether they deserved as much as they are asking for. But then the governors are actually looking at the direction of the AGF that why is it that it is the office that is spearheading this the payment of this huge sum of $480 million to a consultant, and they are suspecting that perhaps there's something, there's a very, very suspicious relationship between that consultant and the office of the AGF. And of course, we cannot blame them. $418 million. It's not a small money. If we convert that at our current interest rate today, that's a lot of money. And the allegations are there that it's like the haste with which the Office of the Honorable Attorney General of the Federation issued a statement asking the states for the deduction is questionable. Well, as people on the sideline, I don't think it is we cannot rule, we cannot apportion blame, we cannot take a definite position. And for HGF is a powerful forum of consisting of 36 state governors, and a lot of them are having this consensus to attack or to allege that the AGF is doing this. I think that office has to come out clean to say no, this is our position. Although the AGF is saying that no, they have to do that to prevent is it a judgment payment or something like that. But then these guys cannot, the governors cannot just be crying when there is not. The AGF must come out clean to state where it belongs to. The governors are saying that it's supposed to be on our side. Why is it that you are siding with the consultant to pay that particular fee? It is humongous. $418 million in Nigeria's economy today means a lot. If you plow that back to certain states, it can actually stimulate a lot of investment and help states to do a lot. So the office of the Attorney General of the Federation must come out clean. Thank God, fully a court has prevented the federal government from deducting that money. I think that was yesterday. But then it's not enough. The AGF, it is the one now that has the onus lies on him to come out clean to say this is the problem. I think he has also to dissociate himself. He has to be clean officially to tell us what relationship exists between him, his office, and the consultants. The governors are, I think it is a legitimate concern that they have had. That amount cannot just move out of our economy without anybody telling us what interest lies from the office of AGF at this moment.
Yeah, Adebayo, another issue that got the governors angry was the fact that as the #1 law officer of the land, there is a subsisting court order on this matter that all parties should stay action pending the final determination of the suit on this Paris refund money. Now they are wondering that why would the Attorney General of the Federation, who is the #1 law officer, disobey the court order, secretly authorize the payment of this money to people believed to be his personal friends, who he called consultants. So, is that not also a slight on the office of the Attorney General, and that does it not call his competence to question?
I think
national interest over national interest.
Yes, I think what I saw was that the statement from the office of the Attorney General was actually dated Friday, November 21.
Exactly, that's right.
Yes, and that was before the ruling of the court that came out. I think that was yesterday. But whatever it is, the governors, of course, might be suspicious about what connection was it, and was there a premonition that the court was going to give a ruling as at yesterday? So why was there that rushing that that payment should be made? It is suspicious. And of course, if you can link it between you and the consultant that there's a particular relationship, whether friendship or extant relationship, no matter how little, then we have to capitalize on that. And since the matter was actually in the court, one would expect that the chief law officers of the Federation would restrain himself to await the outcome of yesterday's ruling before writing such letters. So that is why the governors are angry, and they are saying that, no, you should know better. If there's no relationship between you, why do you have to be asking for such a remittance at the point, at the period where this is still under litigation? So those are the issues, and that's why I am saying that the office of the Attorney General should come out clean to tell Nigerians in clear terms why the interest. What is so peculiar about these remittance that must be made at the expense of the nation and the states that are saying that no, we don't think we should pay this money as it is, as being asked.
Okay, and also besides, don't you think that, do you think that the governors, even before the consultants were engaged, Were they told that about the fees that they were going to pay eventually, or the AGF just came about and said, "Oh, we are owing these consultants $418 million," without the prior knowledge of governors before?
I think that's part of the lapses that we have witnessed in our kind of federation. Some people arrogate almost all the almighty sovereignty to themselves in the name of occupying a particular office. Except the government, the federal government was going to be the sole liability and what we call beneficiary of such judgment. To me, I see no reason why the states who are going to be made to pay from that, from the deficit or the liability of that judgment or that decision will not be involved in the negotiation process. Even if we are negotiating with them as the Attorney General of the Federation, at the end of the day, the money was not going to be paid solely by the federal government. Now we are asking the state to take responsibilities for an action. If the government was, if the governors were involved, if they are part of the process, I don't think by now they will be protesting. The fact that they are protesting shows that they were not part of the process. They were not bought into it to understand that, yeah, at the end of the day, this thing goes this way. This is going to be your responsibility. If they were, they would not be resisting. It has to be clearly defined. And of course, many people have been arguing that the amount, the so-called amount that you are asking for by the, that is being asked for by the consultant, is so outrageous. So we don't know at that level, at what level the Nigerian government negotiated with these people at what rate. Those are the things that are supposed to have been brought to the fore before we get to this level.
All right, Adebayo, before we move away from the Punch, there is a photo of interest on the front page of the Punch this morning. I don't know if you have taken note of a photo. The photo of an handcuffed military man being ferried to an unknown destination. His name is okay, the name is not here, but he's an Air Force officer accused of being an accomplice on the attack on the Nigerian Defense Academy in Kaduna sometime in August by bandits. I hope you remember that story. Yesterday, when the story broke out, the military authorities denied anything like that, that there was no any arrest of any military man. But this morning, the Punch is publishing a photo of the suspect being taken to an unknown destination, maybe Kaduna, for interrogation.
Well, I think the newspapers were, the social media was awash with this yesterday. And the information out there was that the man, I think something Solomon, was a sergeant. Yes, was apprehended at his base, I think somewhere in Yola, Air Force Base, and was flown to Kaduna to the National Defense Academy to answer questions about his involvement in the sad and pathetic invasion of National Defense Academy some months back. And of course, I read the refutation of the military this morning. From what I understand, from what I saw from the Nigerian Defense Academy, what they are saying is that they have also seen the viral publication allegedly that conveyed the alleged suspect. The NDS spokesman Bashir Mohammed, the major, said that they are not an investigative institution, that they are a military institution, and the said man, they are not aware about it and it's not in their custody. I think as the media, we should probe further to ask who the Sergeant Solomon that is everywhere, who he is. Who, if he was actually, because we can see that he's anchored. If he's actually anchored, it means there's an offense that has been alleged against him. And we can see that he was ferried to a standby military aircraft. So where is he taken to? And for what offense? We need to dig deeper to understand what is the problem there. The FDA they can deny that, but then they are saying that they are not the investigative. They are not an investigative institution. So it means that the man may have truly been arrested, but it's not in their custody. The man could be in the custody of the Nigerian Intelligence Agency, DSS, or wherever. We don't know which organization or which agency of government is investigating that issue as of today. So I think what we should do is to dig further to understand who the man is, what offense is being alleged to have been committed, and where it's taken to, and for what offense is being investigated for. So those are the issues. But I don't think that clearly NDA may not actually be saying that the man was not arrested, but that is not in their custody.
All right, many thanks.
Okay, we have a last paper, and that is Daily Times. Daily Times. It still has a headline story of Malami's working against public interest. But what is of importance to us this morning is the rider there. It says it will take Nigeria 120 years to meet medical demands. That is Minister of Health. It will take Nigeria 120 years to meet medical demands. That is on Daily Times this morning.
Yeah, the headline on the green bar below the linked story. It will take Nigeria 120 years to meet medical demand, according to a serving minister. Adebayo, I don't know, is this a rocket science to have, whatever you need in the healthcare sector functionally available in your country?
I think that statement coming from the Minister of Health. I don't know whether the state or the substantive.
Or the senior minister.
Okay, that's Dr. Enaire. I think that's going to be a very unfortunate statement coming from the Minister of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Yes, I remember that at the outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic last year, the SGF, that's the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Mr. Boss Mustafa, who then headed the Presidential Task Force on the COVID-19, stated that he did not know that the decadence in the health sector was that humongous. That's what Mustafa said that year. That was just last year. And one expected that in response to the COVID-19 pandemic, where the death figures have not discriminated against Nigerians, whether they are rich, whether they were poor, that government would have responded to that by not just reactivating or reform the health sector altogether, but also to partner with the private sector to assist in healthcare delivery in this country. It is not rocket science. We have a template. Before, I think 1997 or something like that, let me get my facts right, maybe 1997 or so. The Gariki Medical Center, Gariki General Hospital used to be like a moribund hospital until they brought in a private sector. I don't want to mention the name of the organization now. They brought in and they turned that hospital around. Go to Gariki Hospital today. It's one of the best hospitals that we have in Nigeria. In fact, it pioneered IVF, initiative in Nigeria. So why is the minister saying that? We should not be sounding defeatist at this level. Government should be able to expand its mind to bring in whoever can help. We are talking about the help of over 200 million Nigerian people as of today. We are talking about the people that cannot access, that cannot just fly or jump into the plane to go to India, to go to UK or anywhere to access medical help. So if government is saying that it's going to take 120 years, that's very, very unfortunate. I think what government should be doing now is that it should be deliberate and very intentional about how much funding is deploying into the health sector and how much help is seeking from the private sector. And even from Nigerians that are in the diaspora that are ready to help. So 120 years is going to be a huge waste. I don't believe that it should take Nigeria that much. Government should be thinking. 120 years is not possible. Government can do this thing in 20 years if we are serious and we want to do it.
I think that's the underlying word, if we are serious as a country.
But then, you know what came to mind too? The fact that many of us will not even be alive to see.
Imagine. So, what essence is the plan?
Our children may not be alive to see. I mean, I don't know. I pray so. You know, 120 years in the life of the
that will take 120 years. All right, Remi Adebayo, editor, Abuja City Journal. Many thanks to you for creating time to join us this morning on Inside Nigeria. We hope to see more of you on this show.
Thank you so much.
You have a beautiful day ahead. Adebayo, editor, Abuja City Journal. Thank you so much. So, Winfred, we've done justice today.
Yes.
And it's time to go.
Yes.
Our viewers, make a date with us tomorrow for the midweek edition of Inside Nigeria. My name remains Body Valuable. Bye for now.
Bye.
Thank you for watching. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.